What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. Can you hit that notification bell? Please subscribe to the channel. I would definitely appreciate it. Also, I just want to tell you all, I'm doing live streams like every Thursday. So make sure you hit that notification bell because I think some of y'all are not getting my notifications when I do the live streams. I'll be having a lot of valuable information on the live streams that I do on Thursday. I had one about Costa Rica, about some dating options that they have in Costa Rica. But I don't think most of y'all got the notification on that particular live stream. So make sure you do that for me, okay? Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. In this particular video, I found this video very interesting. This is an example of another tourist getting himself in a lot of trouble in Colombia. And this gentleman, he was in Bogota this time, not Medellin, but this is in Bogota. And he was drugged and robbed, and he was nearly stranded in Colombia. And I think that's a nightmare that I hope to never, ever have to go through. It's actually being stranded in Colombia and be dependent on people in the States to help you out, like like your family or something like that will have to come and rescue you or send money to you because you got yourself in a jam. And this guy got himself in a jam. And what we're going to do is we're just going to point out some mistakes that he made. This is a channel of awareness. So we're not going to troll nobody. I'm not here to troll him or anything like that, but I'm just going to point out some of the mistakes that he made that we should be careful of when we travel. Okay, let's get right into it.
Hi, and welcome to a part of my story, part of my journey in South America and in Colombia, about how I was drugged, I was robbed, and I ended up in hospital. First of all, I'd like to share a little bit about why I'm traveling around in South America. I am traveling in South America and hopefully also Central America to learn about different indigenous cultures, to learn about ways of healing, ways of being in connection with nature, and also ancient traditions. During this journey, robbed and, like I said, ended up in hospital. Now, first of all, some of you may wonder how this happened. So I've been traveling I do wish to one day find my partner. And in those wishes, I've also obviously wondered and hoped, would that maybe be on this journey throughout South America? Now, I don't have any preference on which woman or whoever I'm going to find. I'm always open, and I'm open to get to know new people. And
by the way, he's in Bogota. He's not in he's not in Medellin. This incident happened in Bogota. So what I've heard was that more druggings actually happen in Bogota than they do in Medellin. You have more people are being drugged in Bogota than you do in Medellin. Believe it or not, I found that out. A lot more, actually. A lot more of foreigners are being drugged in Bogota more than Medellin.
been on different dating sites.
Okay, that's the first mistake that he made. Dating sites. I don't know what it is about those dating sites that these foreigners get on in Colombia, but the U.S. Embassy just put out a travel advisory against dating apps. Stay off the dating apps because they are very dangerous because you have a criminal element on those dating apps in Colombia. most of your robberies, kidnappings, people getting deleted, people getting assaulted, people having bad things that happen to them, always been connected to the dating sites. Stay away from those apps. Tinder, Bumble, all that. Stay away from that.
And got to know a lot of amazing people. And also here in Colombia, also in Peru, and never had any problems, never had any issues, and always had a lot of beautiful encounters. Sadly, this was not true for this time, and I have also learned a hard lesson. I've had a lot of comments on some writings and some other videos I've done on Facebook and Instagram, and I now get it. It is some hard lesson. I've had a lot of comments on some writings and some other videos I've done on Facebook and Instagram, and I now get it. It is something that's happened a lot. It's happened to many, and there are also warnings out there about it. Now, I had heard some rumors about people being drugged, taken home, getting their stuff stolen, and I've always thought I'd be careful. I've always thought I'd be taking care of myself, and I don't think I ever thought that this could happen to me.
Yep, I've heard that before so many times. People say that fast. In the blink of an eye, you can turn your back 1 second. You can have your drink right in front of you. You just bend down for a quick second. You put the scopolamine right in your drink, just like that. You know, I've heard this. I've heard this so many times.
And it did. One evening, I was a bit bored, feeling a bit alone, and a couple of days before this, I was introduced to an area of Bogota where they said the nightlife was pretty cool. It's definitely worth checking out. For the most, it is a safe area to be in as a tourist. So I decided, what the heck, why not go out and just check the nightlife? I'd like to say I haven't drunk alcohol for nearly 5 years, maybe more. I've had one glass of wine in those 5 years. And I love to dance, I love music, so I thought, no, I'll go out, maybe I'll meet some people, maybe have some fun, and then I can tick that off my list that I've been out in town in Bogota. I didn't really feel like going alone, so I thought, why not check out one of my apps and see if I can meet up with someone, maybe go.
And that's when things went down here, those apps. Those dating apps. Stay away from those dating apps.
For some dinner first and then go out. I got in contact with this one woman, and we both agreed on that we were pretty bored and that we wished to go out and maybe get some food and just hang out and get to know each other. I finally order a taxi. Actually, I order Uber, so I figure it's one of the most safest ways of traveling around in Bogota. We agree on a place to meet up, and I go there, and this girl then turns up with her friend, and
another red flag. If a girl shows up with her friend, usually that's not good. Because usually, if there's two females, one does the distraction and the other one gives the drug. If you ever in Colombia and you meet a female and she tells you she wants to bring her friend, run. That's number one red flag there I see. All right.
She explains to me that she's brought her friend along just to make sure that she's safe and that everything's okay. You know, I think that's an amazing idea. I think it's clever. And yeah, I wish that maybe I had brought someone along with me too. But I would also share my thoughts about that in a minute. Anyway, we decide that we want to go and get something to eat, and they recommend, well, both the girls recommend this pizza place, and they said they'll order a taxi and we'll go to this pizza place because it was faster to drive.
Okay, now he met up with the two girls, and it sounded like he said that he got into a taxi with them. Yeah, because they met at the. Let me see. Hold on.
I agree to this. Um, we go to this pizza place and they're closed. So we go along the street and we find somewhere else to eat. So we actually go into KFC and order a family meal, and we share this meal. After we've eaten in KFC and got to know each other for a while, the two girls asked me if I'd like to join them in a bar, and it's just across the street. There's not a lot of people. I think there's about 4 people in the bar, and I thought, there's no harm in that. So we go over to the bar and we buy 3 beers, one each.
That's the master of illusion. There you go. You at a bar with two females. You don't know who they are, and that's a recipe for them going to drug you. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm not trolling him, but this is the same mistakes that foreigners make over and over and over again. If it's two females, they want you to go to a bar with them, go home.
And when we're in the bar, we get to know each other more, and we're there about, I wouldn't say for more than 45 minutes, and the friend that's with her turns around and says she'd like to go home. They're both saying that they feel safe situation, so the friend's going to go home. We didn't even talk about what we were going to be doing after.
I found it very suspicious. They probably already gave him the drug, so the two girls, they break away and leaves him with one.
But the friend asked if we could follow her home. She didn't want to walk home on her own. Again, of course, I agree. I think this is a good idea. I don't want some girl walking alone home in Bogota in the middle of the night. I think it's about 11:30 in the evening at this point.
Things is getting ready to get very interesting. Check this out. What happens?
Just before we start walking her home, we cross the street over to a supermarket where the friend buys a Red Bull. We go into the supermarket, buy the Red Bull, and we start to walk. This is the last thing I can remember that evening. Now, I don't know this. This is obviously something that says in the report from the hospital. I arrived at the hospital about 3:30 in the morning. So 3.5 hours had passed.
3.5 hours passed, and he has no memory of anything. His memory was totally wiped out. That's scary. From 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, he has no memory of nothing. That's how powerful that scopolamine is.
I remember vaguely standing outside the hospital asking the ambulance for help. I have no memory of whatsoever feeling slightly drunk, feeling dizzy, or in any way feeling something that I shouldn't have felt. So it hit fast and it hit hard, whatever it was they give me. I have absolutely no memory of where I've been, no memory of how I got to the hospital, no memory of what's happened to me, or whoever has been around me. And this is probably one of the worst things to handle. And it's also one of the most scariest things in my mind, what's going on in this moment, and the fact that I can't remember anything. I would like to also say, as I was saying earlier, I'd share my thoughts on bringing a friend. Now the last couple of days, I've been reading loads of other reports about this happening to other guys.
Okay, now things get even crazier at the hospital. Wait till you find out what the hospital did to him, which makes things even much more complicated.
It's really scary. But definitely trying to do as much as you can to keep safe, I would like to share what happened to me in the hospital, because this was even an extension of a nightmare that I'd been through. I gathered the hospital was taking care of me and looked after me, and probably as much as they could. I did not get a room in the hospital. I was sat for more than 3 hours on my own, on a plastic bench in the hospital, in the waiting room, freezing, shaking, before anyone helped me. I do not have any memory of getting any help. The hospital had written that they've taken blood tests. They gave me 1.5 liters to drink. They gave me medicine. I have I don't remember any of that. I think it's pretty, I was going to say funny. It's not funny at all, but I have no puncture holes in my arms where they normally take blood tests.
So he's at the hospital and he still doesn't have any memory of what happened to him. He don't remember them taking any, blood from him. He doesn't remember anything. He's just there in the waiting room in the hospital. But it gets more interesting.
They give me any medicine or anything like that. So I think this is also pretty scary. Next morning when I started coming to myself more, I didn't have any means of talking to anyone. I didn't have any money. My bag was gone, my phones were gone. And yeah, I did say phones. I had 2 phones with me. I've traveled.
You never carry 2 phones with you, ever. I always keep an emergency phone in my safety deposit box. And never carry your passport with you either. Keep that in the safety deposit box. That's why I don't get hostels. That's why I don't get Airbnbs. I know if you're down in Colombia for a long period of time, I know maybe for a month or so, you'll be down there for quite time, then you do have to get an apartment, because I know a hotel would be too expensive to be paying for that long period of time. But always have a safe spot where you keep your stuff, but never carry all your stuff with you. That was another mistake that he made. So now he's in this jam right now. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have no credit cards. He don't have no money. He don't have nothing. I don't know why that he brought everything with him like that.
With 2 phones over the last 5 months, for cases like this, in case I lost a phone, in case I was robbed. And sadly, this evening, my primary phone with my SIM card in was low on battery, and I did not want to get stuck anywhere without a phone, so I couldn't contact anyone. So in my rush to go out the door, I decided to take both phones with me, and both phones were stolen. All my applications, all my means of closing my bank accounts down, closing my bank cards down.
Okay, things is getting ready to get real interesting. Okay, he's at the hospital. But things get very uncomfortable. Watch what happens at the hospital. This is the part that I don't understand.
And both phones were stolen. All my applications, all my means of closing my bank accounts down, contacting anyone, gone. I was stuck in hospital with not many possibilities. In the morning, they gave me the bill and they said I was free to go once the bill was paid.
Did you hear that? They said that he couldn't leave the hospital until the bill was paid. So he was just stuck there in the hospital. He was robbed, phone's gone, he couldn't call nobody, and the hospital wanted him to pay before he was able to leave.
There was guards on every single door in that hospital. You could not leave the hospital without paying that bill. I had no intention of not paying the bill. But they would also not let me go and figure out some money to pay the hospital. So I was actually locked in and felt like a prisoner, and I was in hospital for 6 more hours after they'd released me until the hospital bill could get paid.
Oh my God, he was in the hospital for extra 6 hours. So it's like he was in prison. They locked him in the hospital. He couldn't leave until he paid the bill.
I was allowed to try and get hold of my sister on Facebook. Immediately she said yes and would help me to pay the bill before I could get out. The only problem was that I'd been drugged, robbed. The hospital, when they sent my sister the bill, the date was wrong on the bill, even the year was wrong on the bill. My sister started to get worried. When I told her that I was drugged and robbed, and now someone wanted some money to release me, immediately she thought that I was kidnapped and that my video call was actually not from the hospital but from the kidnappers, and I totally understand her. So my sister decides to contact the embassy in the UK to make sure that I was actually in the hospital and that this was a legit bill from the hospital. As you can imagine, going through the British embassy, going to the Colombian embassy, back to the hospital, this took an awful amount of time, and it was a nightmare to sit there in this hospital alone, no contact with anyone, no money, really no food, no drink for a long time, and changing positions between sitting on a plastic chair, bench, and sitting on the floor. Finally, the embassy got hold of the hospital and everything was verified, and my sister transferred the money and I could go home to my hostel.
Wow. See, that is an amazing story. You see what happens? This happens to hundreds of tourists every day in Colombia of getting drunk. You have to follow the rules. You have to pay attention because the consequences is so severe when you don't follow the safety protocols. So the drugging with the apps are getting so bad until the Department of Homeland Security and the the U.S. Embassy put out a travel advisory against dating apps because so many Americans and foreigners are getting drugged and robbed through these dating apps. So please stay off those dating apps. I'm glad, this could have been much worse. He could have gotten kidnapped or anything, but it didn't happen. So I just did this video live to tell you guys to please just watch yourself. I'm glad that he is okay. He made it back to his hostel and he's safe and everything. But drugging is really high in Colombia right now. And I would advise you not to go there. at this point right now until things really get a little bit more safer. Okay, make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Hit the likes, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.